New York City police are releasing disturbing video of a gunman firing shots into a home in Queens. A 10-year-old boy was killed in that attack Saturday night, and his uncle was wounded. Just the latest violent crime rocking New York City, and it happened the same day that Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez endorsed New York City mayoral candidate Maya Wiley. She backs defunding the police, although she reportedly admits to paying for private security in her own Brooklyn neighborhood. Governor, I'd like to start with you on this. AOC was clear in her endorsement. She said, quote, defunding the police means defunding the police. She said not funny math or budget tricks, moving police from one department to another so they stay in the same positions. This, as we all know, serious and violent crime has been spiking in New York City over the last year and a half. So as the New York Post writes, when did Fantasy Island become a part of AOC's district?
You know, I'm having a hard time understanding who's the craziest person. Is it that individual psychiatrist who went and spoke at Yale? Or is it AOC who somehow thinks that defunding the police makes the streets of her own district safer? This tragedy involving the 10-year-old is heartbreaking. And then you have the mayoral candidate who thinks it's perfectly fine for her to provide her own security. But how many people in New York City, especially the tough neighborhoods, can afford to cough up $550 a year and have their own private security, which is still a form of armed protection? I don't get this. It makes no sense whatsoever, except to people on the far left, and I don't even know how they can come out with a way to make this somehow reasonable. It just isn't. It's pure insanity.
And Tomi, the way that mayoral candidate Maya Wiley tried to explain this away, she blamed her husband for paying for the private security, and she said it's his personal trauma response to getting mugged in the neighborhood and having to be hospitalized for 6 weeks. She says, quote, it's not necessarily rational, but it's his trauma response, so it's a complicated one for our family.
Yeah, it's nice when you're able to afford that private security, but unfortunately so many are unable to afford that. And then, of course, the Democratic Party also doesn't believe in the Second Amendment. So very interesting how that works out. But listen, the defund the police movement is the dumbest thing that's come out of the Democratic Party, and that's saying a lot. But I'll tell you this. I just got back from California, spent some time in California, one of the areas in Los Angeles also that defunded their police and now is rushing to refund their police because of their crime spikes. But I actually was able to speak with a couple of officers, and they told me that, yes, despite the defund the police movement and despite a lot of these communities that are cheerleading it, if you go to areas like West Hollywood, they'll yell at police officers in the streets. They'll tell them they don't want them there. But then when nobody's looking or the media doesn't have a camera on them, they'll actually secretly go up to the police and they'll try to get them to spend more time, patrol their areas, patrol their stores and restaurants more frequently. So they said it's all a farce. This is all something that's an outward approach to make them look better, to make them look woke, to get social media points. But at the end of the day, everybody wants protection, whether you can afford private protection or whether you need to rely on the police, which most people do. This is about keeping our cities and our streets safer. That's something that benefits everybody. And again, as I've said, the Democrats are going to have to own up to this in the midterms. And again, in 2024, they are the party of lawlessness. And the American people, whether they're on the left or the right, they want law and order.
That's exactly right. And Kaylee, the most tragic aspect of this are these children that keep getting caught up in this brutal, spiking violence throughout the city, right? We have every weekend, we just mentioned the 10-year-old, that was Justin Wallace, gunned down over a parking dispute. Amir James, 15, shot dead Thursday picking up groceries with his family.
Yeah, it's a tragedy. And let's focus a little bit on Justin Wallace, that beautiful little boy who lost his life. His family had gone to the beach that morning. They arrived at, I believe it was the dad's sister's house, and there was a parking dispute. The neighbor or someone, I don't know if it was the neighbor, but someone said, move the car. And what ended up happening were shots were fired into the door, hitting this little boy. The dad walked out and said, why is my son lying down? Discovered that his son had been shot and was killed right in front of his father's eyes. His life will never be the same. His day started at the beach, and it ended losing his son, who apparently was a brilliant mathematician. He could count into the millions. A teacher said that he was going to be a mathematician one day, and this family's life will never be the same. And there is something going on in this country when a driveway dispute can turn into this, when a dispute in a car can turn into a 6-year-old, Aiden Leos, losing his life in the backseat of his mom's car. We need to lower the temperature temperature, recognize we're all humans, and heed David Dorn's widow's advice when she said, this is not a video game. These characters are people and they cannot be brought back to life.
Harris.
Kayleigh puts it beautifully, and there is something also going on with this country's politicians on the left. If you'll hear more about that child from Outnumbered than you ever will from Maya Wiley, who spent an inordinate amount of time on MSNBC as a contributor, I believe that was her title. So that's how most people know her. Look, I recently, for just a short second here, watched one of the mayoral debates. I'm curious about it. Andrew Yang, former presidential candidate for Democrats, is in it. Eric Adams, who's a former Brooklyn bureau president, is in it. And I tell you, Maya Wiley was really teeing off on this whole notion of no guns, no police, no this, no that. And Eric Adams said, look, as a former cop on NYPD for 22 years, you're going to need cops. Andrew Yang, you're going to need cops. They were sounding more like Republicans on that panel. So I don't know, as she goes forward, if AOC and that ilk are going to give her everything she needs to go forward. If people look outside and they see what Kayleigh, if they see what you're just describing, their reality is going to be quite different than the politics that she's pushing.